When you think about businesses that are selling through the roof, sure, you think about a great product, a cool brand, and brilliant marketing. But an often overlooked secret is actually the businesses behind the business, making selling simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. Nobody does selling better than Shopify. They're the home of the #1 checkout on the planet and the not-so-secret Shop Pay that boosts conversions up to 50%, meaning way less carts going abandoned and way more sales happening. So if you're into growing your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Allbirds and Skims use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/start selling, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/start selling to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/start selling.
She needs to do a podcast since she never got her due. She's a big lesbian and a loudmouth Jew. With a gasket always ready to blow, you're listening to Judy's show. Who? Judy's show. Wait a minute, who are you talking about? Oh, she's an asshole. What is wrong with you? Oh, you suck. So long. Fuck off. Hey everyone, welcome to It's Judy Show with Judy Gold. I am your host, Judy Gold. And wow, we have this week we have part 2 of my conversation with Dan Bakkedahl. And he's fascinating and not on social media, which is admirable. Because let me tell you something. The amount of time I spend in the vortex looking at my fucking phone is just beyond ridiculous. So I kudos to anyone. That was my coffee. Anyone who is not on social media. Just wanted to give you some upcoming dates that I have. God, I am all over the place. I'm going to be in Colorado tomorrow. Well, it's today, really. The 8th and 9th of October at the Colorado Mesa University. I'm doing a show, and I'm also doing a panel on free speech for the movie Canceled by Fern Perlstein that I'm in. I'm in Provincetown. I'm very excited at the Post Office Cabaret, the 13th through the 16th for Women's Week. And then I am leaving on the 17th to go to Israel to do Comedy for Kobe. And I am going to be in Jerusalem on the 20th, Herzliya on the 21st, and I'm going to be in Tel Aviv on the 22nd. And then I come back to New York, scheduled to do Stephanie Rule, but that, sometimes they have emergencies. The 29th of October, Israel Cancer Research Fund in New York, and I'm going to be in Chicago at the Big Gay Cabaret November 8, 9, and 10. So, yeah, I got a lot of shit coming up. November 22nd, 23rd, I'm in Aventura on the 22nd and Boca on the 23rd. And then it's fucking Thanksgiving. And then I'm empty. My calendar's empty. I feel like Joan Rivers, when she looks at her calendar and you want to have fucking throw up. But that's that. And so that's my sketch. I just want to say I'm recording this on October 7th, and I am really sad. And it's a very sad day. Yesterday I went to Central Park with the Bring Them Home Now contingent. There was, they say, over 1,000 people there. It was pretty packed. And it was moving. One of the moms of one of the hostages spoke. Shai spoke from Colombia. there was singing, there was togetherness, there was chanting of bring them home. And, we're in Central Park. Someone rode by on their bike and yelled Free Palestine, and another guy was running and was like Free Palestine. And I'm telling you, all of the speeches were including, everyone. It was for all human beings. And I'd like to free Palestine from Hamas. I'd love for them to be able to govern themselves. I mean, Gaza could be so beautiful if they had used the money that they had gotten to build, schools and parks and whatever, infrastructure. But they built tunnels so they could kill the Jews. And that's just a fact. And it's sad. So it's a sad day. There's so many warnings here today from the FBI. And it's just awful. So I'm thinking of the hostages today. I'm thinking of everyone we've lost. It's not a good day. It's not a good anniversary. We just need to remember and fight the good fight, So that's what I have to say. It's a day of remembrance. There's always hope in Judaism. There's always hope. And we wouldn't fight if we didn't have hope. So there you go. And Hatikva, the national anthem, means hope. So we're hopeful. Rosh Hashanah services were really intense and wonderful. And Tova Feldshuh was there, and Jerry Nadler was sitting in front of me. And, it's a great community. And the music is, it's just fantastic. And I am, proud to be a part of this community. And we don't all agree, which is part of the whole being Jewish. And I could just ring this fucking bell all day, but I'm not gonna, because it's annoying. Anyway, so that's that. I don't want to dwell on sadness, so I want you to laugh at this podcast, because Dan Bakkedahl is very talented and very recognizable. So I want you to sit back, relax, enjoy part 2 of my conversation with Dan Bakkedahl. So what was the thing where you're like, I have to quit drinking? I just have to quit.
Well, it was, I quit Second City and drinking pretty simultaneously.
Wait, can you just please,
Second City got it.
Can you tell the story? This is another fearless, like, I just wish you were fucking whispering in my ear sometimes, how you ended up leaving Second City. This is a great story.
Yeah. So Second City for generations has been trying to hook their wagon to somebody who can help them turn great sketches into TV shows or movies, right? And at that point, in 2004, they had finally gotten Sony Pictures Television to come on board, and they had this brand new thing they were really excited about. We're going to do a thing on Friday nights where anyone in town who wants to can get on our stage and do some improv or sketch or whatever, comedy, stand-up, whatever they want to do, and Sony's going to be there. We're going to record it, and if they capture something they like, we're going to use it. We're going to try to develop into a show, and guess what? We're going to split the money with you. Second City's going to split the money with you. How generous, right? Of course, the split's going to be 70-30 or 70-10.
Oh, yeah.
And someone else is getting 20. But what killed it for me was I went like, I'm not going to participate in that. Have fun. I don't have to do that. I'm paid to be here for the scripted show and the improv set, whatever. So I'm not going to do that. Thanks anyway. Well, we're going to do a showcase. And we're inviting you and 2 other people on your cast and everybody on the cast in the other theater, the ETC theater. And I said, wait a minute, you're not going to invite our whole cast? We're an ensemble. We built this show together. You can't invite 3 of us. And they said, well, that's the way it's going to be. And I said, well, then I'm not doing it. And they said, okay, fine. And then they took the scene that I wrote with Liz Kukowski, a brilliant writer, producer who's gone on to great stuff. She went over to SNL in the interim. And so she wasn't there to advocate. So I was the only one there going, you can't take a scene that I wrote with Liz, she's not here, and do it at a showcase without us. And they went, this is Second City. We own the material. Yes, we can. And then I discovered it was being done by my two castmates.
Wow.
And they hadn't said anything, and they were kind of whispering about it backstage. And it just all kind of went like, you know, those magic eye posters where you go, oh, I see it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, fuck you fuckers.
Yeah.
I know what you're doing. And we went out on stage and we did our little song where Al Sharpton was running for president. It was hilarious. And at the end of it, the audience is laughing, and I screamed as loud as I could, fuck this place.
No.
Which no one can hear because the music, the loud audience and everything. And I punched the wall and I hit a stud behind the Luan and shattered my, little pinky finger. And I didn't know it, but I went backstage and I was like, something of it. And I realized, oh my God, I can't move my hand because it's broken. Look at what you did. Look at what you did. I finished the show. Jeff Garland was there to see the show that night, just as an alumni of Second City, and also a guy who was going to be shooting a film and wanted to use some of the cast. And he was like, look, man, why are you getting so upset? You already did the show. If you don't like it, fucking quit. And I was like, thank you, Jeff. And so I split, and I came back a couple days later, and they sat down with us. We were signing our contracts for the next show. I had to take a couple days off because my hand was shattered. And we were sitting down to sign the new contracts. And the new show was going to be directed by Mick Napier, who I've mentioned 3 times now. I adore the guy. He's a great director. He really knows how to do a Second City show. And I couldn't wait. I was looking forward to it. I worked with him in Vegas, had studied with him at the Annoyance, couldn't wait. And then they say, oh, by the way, there's this little rider that goes along with it. Everyone, please sign this. What is this? Well, it's just a little thing with the Sony thing. Yeah, I'm going to read it. So I read it, and it basically says, if you do anything in any of these shows, we can sell it to Sony. They can turn it into a TV show. And then we, Second City, in our benevolence, will give a third of that money to the entire cast.
Wow.
And I'm like, what? Make up your fucking mind. Are we a cast here together, or are we 3 people that you invite to a showcase and 3 people that you don't?
Right.
Fuck you. So I didn't knowingly do it. I was just kind of like crumpling it up in my hands. And then our stage manager, who's since passed, Craig Taylor, he had been there forever. And on that particular day, he had just celebrated 25 years at the company. And our equity rep was there, and which is the stage union for actors, right? It's like SAG-AFTRA, but for stage. And she said, anyone else have any questions? Craig Taylor said, yeah, I was wondering, do we get paid for back vacation days? And they said, oh, yeah, of course. How many are we talking? He said, 25 years. And I went, I can't do this. I can't do this. And they were like, what? And in my head, I knew if they won't fucking pay Craig Taylor for his back vacation days without him asking.
Wow.
Not 1 year, Judy.
25.
We missed a couple years.
Yeah.
25 fucking years they sat on his money, and they didn't own it. They went, oh, that's an oversight. Okay, yeah, we can take care of that. And I thought, this place is going to fuck you the first chance they get, and they're in the middle of doing it right now. And I went, I can't do this. I can't. And I got up and I left. And that was it. And Mick was like, what are you doing? And I said, I'm done. I'm leaving. Fuck these people. I am so done with this place.
So did anyone else read the whatever that portion was?
I think so. I think so, but I think to them, they thought it was a great opportunity.
Right. So that's the difference, that you thought, you're fucking screwing me over. And the performers are like, this is all I have. I have to, like, that's the difference between you and 90% of like, oh, if I do this, then my life's going to be over. But you don't have that.
Me too. No, I did have it, Judy. I thought this is where Norma Ray comes from.
Right.
If you remember, if people don't follow Norma out of the factory, Norma's just an unemployed bitch who spoke up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That chick, she doesn't know her place or whatever. No, they fucking got up and left with her. Now she started something, right? Mother Jones, et cetera, et cetera. All these old Mother. Is it Mother Jones, or am I thinking of someone who was into coal mining? I can't remember her name. Anyway. But people who stood up and said, enough of this shit, come with me. Now, I have always been the guy that stood up and said, enough of this shit, come with me. And nobody's ever followed me, not once.
And no one followed you out of there.
Nobody followed me out. All my friends stayed and did the show. And the guy who came in and picked up that space, brilliant guy, written a lot of great shows, nice fella. I got no hard feelings. We have since cleaned everything up. I'm welcome at the Second City as far as I know. ownership has changed in the last couple of years, so I don't know. But I cleaned all that shit up. The next thought I had, as soon as I quit, I had all my stuff, my bags and stuff, and I was walking out. And my friend Jean came up and she said, "Please don't quit. Please don't go." And I said, "Jean, I got to quit everything." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And I said, "I'm just realizing I got to quit it all." And I meant I got to quit doing drugs.
Right.
I got to quit drinking. I got to quit smoking cigarettes. And I got to get out of this toxic fucking environment that no longer feeds me artistically, but rather is a leech on me, is just wants what I have and is going to give me nothing for it. I broke it down once. At the time that I was there, we got paid $75 a show as actors on a show that we wrote. And there were 350 people in the audience who paid $30 a head and probably drank $40 or $50 worth of booze or more. They could have afforded to pay us $750 a show, and they'd have still been coming out way ahead, but they chose not to.
Oh, well, look,
And I just went, that's it.
That's what happens in comedy club. I mean, we make $50, 75, 100, 125, and it's meanwhile, the place is packed. People pay a cover. They're drinking. And, that's why we have to do 8 sets on a Saturday night.
You want the shot or not?
Yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
You want the shot or not? And it's like, I'll make my own shot. Fuck you. I started a podcast this last year for no reason other than because I wanted to make something the way I want to make it and not have to answer to anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did it with Second City people, and I think it's fucking great, whatever. But I always suspected if I got to do it on my own, I would be really, really pleased. I'm very pleased. I'm not saying it's for everybody. I'm not saying even 30% of the population would think it's interesting, but it took me that long to go, fuck it, I'm doing it on my own. I'm going to do my thing.
Right. This week's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, I am a huge advocate for therapy. I talk therapy. I like physical therapy too, but I'm talking about talk therapy. I've been in therapy since I'm 18 years old. There is nothing better. Nothing better. And it is a stressful time. We just had an election. It's the holidays, and we're going to have to spend family time or not spend family time. It's a decision you might make in therapy, because therapy is really the best way, the only way to process your feelings, anxiety, depression, everything. I've been doing it for over 40 years. I know what I'm talking about. So if you've been thinking about starting therapy, if you thought about it for years and just didn't do it, please give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient. It's flexible. It's suited to your schedule. You go to betterhelp.com/JudyGold. You fill out a brief questionnaire. You get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch your therapist at any time for no additional charge. I've done that multiple times in my life, switch therapists. It works. It works. And I know a lot of people who have used BetterHelp, and they love it. So find comfort this December with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/JudyGold today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/JudyGold. You're welcome. Were you drunk ever when you were doing improv at the Second City? Were you a little tipsy?
At Second City, no. I mean, I would have a drink as soon as the show was over. Before we went into the set, I would have a drink ready. I wasn't drinking during the show itself.
Yeah.
At IO, Improv Olympic, it was a little different. We all had a beer sitting on the side of the stage. I wasn't lit.
Yeah.
But, if my mom drank what I drank before those shows, she'd have been hammered.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
I was a pro. I could drink 3 beers, walk on stage, and have a great show and not feel the effects of the alcohol because I needed 8,
Yeah, I don't do anything before. I don't understand how anyone can perform using their brain and be like, there's so many comics, they get stoned or they drink. I'm like, what do you do? Like, you don't even know if you're funny. Like, I don't know.
Well, that was Eric Clapton.
Yeah.
Eric Clapton is famously sober for a very long time.
Yeah.
And he has been quoted as saying, "You never got my best," because when he was young enough to be inspired and creating crazy shit, he was fucked up.
Right.
And therefore, he kind of gave you 3/4 of what he could give you.
It's that.
But I mean, I think I've become a better performer, certainly in the last 19 years, as a result of it.
So you quit, and then you get the Daily Show, right? But how do you
Yes,
get?
yeah.
And you hate it. And how do you get? How was? So you were with John and that whole gang. What was the atmosphere like?
Well, it was a weird time because Colbert had just left to start the Colbert Report, but they were just a bunch of people in an office getting ready to start a show. You know, Allison Silverman was over there, Tom Purcell, Peter Gwynn, and Peter Gross both came over from Chicago, so I knew people over there. Like, you know, Laura Kraft was there. I mean, it was a crazy group of people that I knew and respected. And I was at this place where I'm like, oh my God, I'm on the hottest show on television right now. There's nothing hotter in 2005 than The Daily Show Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
You know? And I can't believe it. Michael Ritchie was right. I was right by quitting drinking. Look at how much my life has improved. And I found out right away, this isn't a place where we're going to go, just throw some shit against the wall and see if it works. This is a place where they go, okay, what kind of shit do you have for us? And you go, oh, I just don't think that way. I don't think in terms of last night I was laying awake and I got this idea. My friend Jim Jeffries is stand up and he'll call me and be like, what do you think of this bit? And he'll tell me a 20-minute story that I go, oh my God, that's great. And then the next time I see a special, it's in there almost the way he said it on the phone.
Right.
You know, my brain just doesn't work that way, you know, unfortunately. So I found myself kind of confused and not really knowing what to do. So I did what I always did, which is I went to my direct supervisor and I said, what can I do to improve my status here? How can I be better? Not what can I do to impress you? Not how can I weasel my way in?
Right.
What am I doing wrong? Give me direction. Give me notes that I can use. And I was approached by the guy that directed The Daily Show. I don't know if Chuck is still there or not, but Chuck was the director. I was approached by him. I was approached by Paul Pinolino, who went on to amazing shit over at John Oliver's show. I think the greatest show on television. And head writer, head of the field department, a couple of my good friends who were editors, they all came to me at different times and said, like, look, man, this is just the way it goes. You know, if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. You're not the first. You won't be the last, but you got the credit. And it sounded a lot like Garland in my ear again going, just take the credit and go get famous. And I went, okay. And they told me the story of how Carell didn't really fit in at first, and how Helms didn't really fit in later when he was there, how they didn't like Cordry when he first got there, whatever. And I went like, none of this fucking matters. None of those guys are me.
Yeah.
I'm alone in this. And I tried that. And when I went to John, unfortunately, and I've since, I think we're cool because I really look forward to hearing John's take on everything on a Monday. So I think we've become cool because he invited me back for his last show before he retired.
Right.
But at that time, I went to him and I said, hey, man, what can I do? And he was like, man, we don't have time to teach you how to do this job. And I just remember thinking, fuck you. Yeah. So I went and got a record player and a beanbag chair and a lava lamp, and I sat in my office and I didn't do a fucking thing for the next year. I just sat there. I went, fine, then fuck you too, dude. Pay me. Pay me $2,000 a week to do nothing. Fuck you too. And he just never was happy with what I did. I don't know if it was because I was actually bad or if it was because I didn't fit or what.
Or maybe your fantastic attitude. I mean, you had such a nice, good attitude.
I was trying to have a good attitude. But when I tell you I don't know how to, like Judy, when we started this podcast and we couldn't get it to record, if I said something along the lines of, you know what, Judy, I don't have time to wait for you to figure out how to record this thing. How would you feel about me?
I think you're an asshole, but you're right.
You'd think I'm a fucking asshole. Yeah. Nah, I got time. Yeah. Fuck off. I got time.
Yeah.
Come on. You don't have to teach me how to be funny.
Right.
You just have to tell me, slow it down a little bit.
And it's also like,
the words
you hired me.
Oh, okay.
You hired me, and now you're not. That to me, that is. Yeah.
That was the thing I always used was like, I was playing the saxophone great in Chicago. And then you came and picked me up and said, come to New York. We need a saxophone player. And I went, fuck yeah. And then I got to Chicago and you went, here's your tuba. And I went,
right.
And they went, hey, buddy, no time for this shit. So now what I've discovered in hindsight is, again, like I said, it's not the Dan show with Dan. it's the Daily Show with Jon Stewart.
Right.
It's his show.
Right.
It's not about my comfort. It's about figuring out how to fit in where you are. And so I parlayed that later in my career into don't ask, just go. All right, you want to see what I'll give you when I'm just giving you what I'll give you? You wouldn't have hired me in the first place on the Daily Show then.
Right.
You know, it wouldn't have been a fit. That's the thing. That's really where the problem is. Not me,
right,
but that I didn't fit that show. That's the truth of it. Was I didn't belong there in the first place. And so when I got the Veep, I didn't hesitate. I just jumped in with both feet, and I thought they'll tell me calm down, slow down, pull it back, make it smaller, whatever, because they actually have directors that direct actors. The Daily Show doesn't have that. They don't have a talent director. They have a show director who directs cameras and sound. All that kind of shit. It's a totally different deal.
Right.
You know.
And you have worked consistently, just going from TV show to TV show to TV show, which is what we all want. I mean, I would like to just be on one for a long period of time and not have to fucking worry about money and health insurance. But
yes.
And all you essentially just went back to where you started, acting.
Well, yeah, first what happened was I said we got to get the hell out of New York because we're never going to be able to afford it without a job. I had already done an episode of Law and Order and an episode of 30 Rock. I was out of TV shows to do in New York at that time. And so everything I was doing was on tape for LA. And I said, that's it. We're moving to LA. We moved to LA during that writer's strike, which was followed by a SAG, soft strike kind of thing. So I spent a year and a half doing nothing.
And that is the worst place to do nothing. The worst place. But did you not have an appreciation for the writer's strike after what you dealt with Second City and them trying to take your ideas and
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't. It wasn't like I thought, how dare they? I thought, this seems righteous. That's good to go. So my instinct, Judy, was, well, then go back to what got you here, which is improv. So I started an improv group. And these are the same guys that I started this podcast with in the last year.
Great.
So these are guys that I've known.
What's the name of the podcast?
For 25 years. Mr. Johnson's Time Machine. It's a narrative. It's like Peabody and Sherman meets Drunk History. It's a narrative where the two hosts hate each other and bicker throughout the whole thing. I think it's really fucking funny, and it's smart, and it's about history and science.
I love
whatever.
that.
But back in 05 or 07 when I first moved here, I said, well, we got to get something going. So I got on an improv team. I hooked up with another improv friend, and I started a new group with these guys and Mr. Johnson. And I just said, you get busy. That's all. Your teacher never told you, you're going to be rich and famous if you apply yourself. He said you can make a living if you apply yourself. So I began to apply myself in a way that I didn't know how to do at the Daily Show because I didn't understand. I was never political. I'm still not really political, not in a comedic way. I mean,
I'm just
I can
angry.
argue with you, but I'm not. It's not going to be funny. I'm just going to be mad.
Right.
Exactly. And so I did that, and that kind of saved my mental health. It kept me from thinking that getting a drink would be a good idea. It kept me from thinking, fuck this, let's quit acting. It made me go, no, you're still good at this. Look, the audiences are laughing. They're showing up. They're enjoying it. It's live. And luckily, I had an agent at the time who believed me and just kept putting me out there. I auditioned for every male lead, with the exception of the son, on Breaking Bad. You know what I mean? Like, and show after show, Friday Night Lights, et cetera, show and show. One after another, trying and failing. And one day I walked into an audition and Jim Jeffries was sitting there. I didn't know who the hell he was. Yep. And he hired me to be his best friend on his show. And it changed everything.
Right. It's amazing.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying... just beautiful...
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
I want to talk to you about your decision not to be on social media.
Yeah.
I, first of all, respect that so much. For comedians, it's like all they look at is how many followers. Doesn't matter if you can write a fucking joke. it's like you can fill the room on a Saturday night, so we're going to hire you. You're going to suck.
Yep.
The audience is going to walk out, be like, "That's stand up." Oh, well, I'm not going back to that. I mean, it's so. Did you make? How did you make this decision? When did you make this decision? And
it was a series of conscious decisions.
Yeah.
The Facebook was first to go, and it was when Russia was hosting the Olympics. My wife was born in the Soviet Union, and say what you will about Putin, as long as you say he's a fucking asshole. But the people of Russia are just people living there. They always have been.
Yep.
We always kind of suspected they were just people who wanted to pet their cat and have some milk and cookies, just like us. And I had friends who were making fun of the opening ceremonies because there was some technical failures and stuff. And I just kind of said back, like, the artist that created that zip line thing that didn't work, that was his whole fucking life. And you're celebrating his failure because you think Putin's a prick, which he is. And they were like, yeah, but gay people. And I said, yeah, but we don't know the guy that created that zip line thing. Maybe he has a gay kid. Maybe he's not anti-gay. So you're bashing him for no reason.
Maybe he's gay.
That's the problem with social media. Yeah. If this guy was standing in front of you, you wouldn't have 1/3 of the balls you have to say a half of what you're saying.
Right.
And for that, you don't deserve to be in my daily life.
Or have a soapbox. Yeah.
And then I typed up a big thing that's not realizing at the time that when you erase your account, it all goes away, kind of.
Yeah.
But I said, like, look, if you're not going to be part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. And if you're going to pick on people that you wouldn't have the guts to even say hello to in person, you're a coward. And frankly, this guy's kid is cuter than everyone else's kid. And that cat video is the best. Bye now.
Right.
And that was it, And then I was on a show where they required us to be on social media to publicize it. Right?
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
So I got on I got on Twitter. You fucking what? I was already on there, but now I started like ramping it up. And I watched in 2015 as a young friend of mine, this young actress, said something about like, I don't know, Donald Trump scares me or something like that. She said it was really benign compared to what gets said nowadays. And someone said, fuck you, cunt, blah, 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 blah. And I just went, what? This is not conversation.
This is
that
not
cowardly
civil.
little spanking in his own jeans fucking asshole lives in his mommy's basement and loves his guns more than he loves human life, children and pets and whatever. This fucking piece of shit doesn't deserve a second of my time. I wrote her a personal message saying, I'm really sorry that guy said to you. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm leaving. I'm leaving social media. And that's why. Have a good day. Nobody followed me. I complained about it, somewhere, and someone said, get on Instagram. So I got on Instagram. That lasted about 6 months, where I realized, it doesn't matter. You can call it X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Fuck you. It's all the same. It's all faceless, nameless people trolling you, trying to bring you down. And I don't get, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings numerous times on social media. But my realization was, again, Norma Ray, they can't hurt you if you walk away.
Right. And it's like,
and if you're lucky,
I'm not giving you power.
Someone will come with you.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking came with me again, Judy. Nobody came with me again. But you know what? This is one. I don't go back. I don't care. I don't go back.
Janine Garofalo is not on social media, nor does she have
Good
a computer. So she's like,
wow.
When the grid goes down, I'm going to be the only one who's going to be okay.
Yeah, can you hook me and her up? We can do a show together. Nobody will publicize it.
Do they, when you go on, when you audition or get offered parts, do they ask you because I know.
No.
For Broadway, they're like, how many followers? Shut up.
I honestly, I look at it and I think if that's part of it, if that's part of why, look, we had a terrible year in show business the last, 16 months, really.
Yeah.
We're maybe starting to creep out of the muck now. But I spent 15 months doing about 5 days worth of work, 3 of which were voiceover, And if that's why I'm not getting work because I'm not on social media, then I'll be a teacher. Because fuck you, there is nothing good coming out of it. And I understand that people do have to have it to publicize.
Right.
If they're doing stand-up and they're going to be in Ipswich and they need to let people know, how the hell else are you going to let them know? They're not listening to the radio. So you're not going to, how are you going to get them to know? So I feel for the people who have to be on there. But as I do not have to be on there, I will not be on there. And if someone tells me I have to be on there, I'm going to say, show me in the Constitution where it says I have to be on there. I'm not doing it.
You probably do not look at your phone that often unless someone's calling you or you're reading something.
No, I'm really bad at crossword puzzles, so I do spend a lot of time on my phone trying to finish the crossword puzzle.
Right.
But that's about it.
Oh, God,
it's games and photos
I'm so jealous
emails.
of you. I'm so jealous.
You know what kills me, Judy?
It's a vortex. It's a fucking
you're one of the,
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And you're one of the 100 people that said that. And I think, then why aren't we all just doing it? Don't we know? Didn't the revolution teach us anything? Didn't the French Revolution didn't any of these teach us anything that by ourselves we're nothing? I can't do it I can't do shit. How would you tell people join me? Because you can't. I mean, unless I get on CNN and Fox, I couldn't. Nobody would know.
It's part of my job. I just feel like it's a part of my job that I fucking hate. I resent and hate. Of course. And it's a waste of my fucking time. But
it's like insurance companies for healthcare workers. It's like we have to work with this bullshit. Yeah. And I get it. Look, it may be hurting me. I'm not going to say I haven't lost jobs because of social media. I probably have, but I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll ask Rick Dorfman how many jobs you've lost.
Yes.
And maybe he can tell me to get off the fucking. I hate it. It's always about followers, the followers.
He may know.
Yeah. Dan, first of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time to be on It's Judy's show.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And I love your brain. I just love the fearless. It's not even fearlessness. It's conviction. You have convictions and you stick to that. And it's so refreshing. It is so fucking refreshing. I'm going to take what I learned from you and I'm going to apply it. I'm done with, people think I'm, you're so this and you'll say that and everything. But I do have integrity, which I think you have too. But there is a part of me that's like, oh, if I don't do this, and I just want to stop second guessing myself.
We all have it.
Yeah.
I had a friend who said that, quote unquote, healthy people do not go into, hey, stranger, love me for a living.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's what this
is. Exactly.
Hey, stranger,
yes.
Stranger, check me out. You love me? I don't know your name.
I don't know you, but you love me. I mean?
Like, clearly there's something missing, and being on stage fulfills it for me. And on occasion, being on set fulfills it for me. I've worked on plenty of shows where I went, honest to God, the last show I did, the one I did in London, the one that's already been canceled, if that was the future of my career, I don't know that I could necessarily be excited about it. It wasn't, the joy wasn't there the way that I know it can be. And I just feel like life is too goddamn short. It's just to make $1.
Yep.
To do what? To buy toilet paper? Like, I'm fucking compromising myself to buy toilet paper? I'll get a leaf. I'll get a hose. I don't need this shit.
It's probably better for your ass anyway.
Hose probably
would be really good.
We could start that. I'll get on social media for that campaign.
We could do that.
Let's wipe out toilet paper.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
We'll talk to Rick. We'll get it done.
Yeah, we'll do it. Dan, thank you so much. I would tell people where to follow you, but you don't have any. I don't have to.
No, just go listen to the podcast. Go listen to Mr. Johnson's Time Machine.
Yeah.
You could probably send me a message there. I don't know.
Go listen to Dan's podcast. Thank you, Dan. I wish you all the best. Hopefully we can work together.
I hope so. Well, we'll talk to Rick. He'll make it happen.
He makes things happen. But
he does.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to part 2 of my conversation with Dan Bakkedahl. Next week, we will have a rant. I will be ranting from Provincetown, and then I'll be on my way to Israel by the end of the week, and to perform for Comedy for Kobe, which is a camp for kids with PTSD, which, as I say in my act, I should be one of the campers and not the comedian raising the money. Hey, now. Anyway, I did all my dates in the beginning. Come see me, please. Oh, I always forget this. This podcast was produced by Laura Vogel, edited by Colin Schmaling, and marketed by Haley Dircher, and theme song by the one and only Lauren Gold, who I fucking love. And so I just want you all to subscribe and leave a review, like I say every week, because it helps me. Don't you want to help me? I mean, I want to help me, and I can barely help me. So there you go. Yeah, so if you could subscribe and leave a review, 5 stars, please. 5 stars. And yeah, that's it. I'm wishing you all Shana Tova to the Jays. I'm wishing everyone an easy fast, because we have to fast on Yom Kippur. That's it. I don't know what else to say except that thank you for listening. If you're listening to the end, I appreciate it. Here comes I swear to God, here comes the street cleaner. Do you hear them? It's so fucking loud in here. I can't even believe. When I come home from Provincetown and then I come here and it's just siren and crackhead and just people screaming on the street and parades and ambulances and police officers and street cleaning and just fucking dogs and it's just unbelievable. Oh, but I do live across the street from a church and they have the best music. So on Sunday I get a whole free gospel concert, which is nice. I mean, there's some, sounds of New York that you're like, oh, someone's practicing their flute or someone's singing opera or there's, this church and it's just, yeah. Those sounds I don't mind. That's why I love New York. It's the other shit. But, you got to take the good with the bad. So, anyway, thank you all so much for listening. I really appreciate it, especially to the end, because I know a lot of you are not listening to the end. Remembering today, just as an awful day, but at least the street is being cleaned. You know what I mean? Thank God. When I go out there, I could probably go out there with bare feet now. The way they clean the street. So, go listen. Here it is. Oh my God, it's right under my window. Oh, just fantastic. I feel so clean, and God, Colin, my editor, is going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you with this goddamn noise in the background? But, I'm letting you in. There it goes. I'm letting you in on what it's like to be Judy Gold. Anyway, that's it. I have nothing more to say to you. Thank you for listening. And I love you all. And as we always say, so long.